named this video, well, it's kind of a fond memory that I have of my daughter when she was a toddler. And my daughter, she loved to draw. She loved to doodle. And now one of the fun things that she did was she doodled on her diaper too. So she would get a pen and she would just draw on her diaper. She would find a pen wherever she could. Sometimes I actually found her with a pencil trying to draw on her diaper. But it was so funny. She thought her diaper was something to draw on, especially if she was wearing uh, disposable diapers, which wasn't very often because I was in the era of having to um, use cloth diapers with her. But, as I, grew a little bit older and her dad and I got a tiny, tiny bit more money, um, then she would try to draw on her diaper. And that was just a common thing. Even my sons would draw on their diapers too. So they just saw that great big white space on there and thought, okay, we're going to doodle on our diapers. That was just something they did, if they got a hold of. And then when I had my last child, I think I mostly put him in disposable diapers. And he loved to draw on his diaper. I actually think that his siblings may have helped him draw on his diaper. Sometimes I would draw a little smiley face on his diaper. But toddlers, they get a hold of a pen. They like to draw on themselves. They like to draw on their arm. They see a pen and they know that it works. They're watching parents all the time. They see parents with a pen and a pencil and they think, hey, we're going to do this too. We're going to draw on our face. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I think that my son, at one point, he got a hold of a permanent marker and he drew on his face. I don't remember if it was my oldest son or my youngest son. One of them got a hold of a permanent marker and they drew something on their face. And I'm like, you can't go to school like that. And so I scrubbed and I scrubbed and I scrubbed. And it's like I knew I didn't want to scrub too hard. But, they patiently waited while I scrubbed the marker off of their. I think he put it on his forehead, but I'm not positive. That's my, boys are kind of ornery at times. And so I'm working on a little doodle here, and I'm calling it the daughter doodle. The toddler daughter doodle is what I'm calling it. So it's a name that everyone can use if they want to, a tag, a name that everyone can use. It's not specific to any one person, but it's kind of based loosely off of memories that I have with my kids, who are both genders. The only two genders that we have, male and female. And so they love to doodle their diapers. And when I say doodle, they would pick up a pen or a pencil and they would want to draw on their diapers. And, they just saw a place that there should be artwork, and that was their diaper. And they would draw on their skin too. They would pick up a pen, and, it's like I can't tell you how many times when my kids were little, they had pen marks on their diapers and on their arms and all over the place. But permanent marker was one of the worst, though. And I think that my oldest son was the one who actually drew on himself with a permanent marker. I think that was him. That sounds like something he would do, and I'm pretty positive that he did. And I just remember thinking, at least it was on a weekend. I think that's what I recall, is being on a weekend. So I had some time, and I thought, you cannot go to school with a permanent mark on your face like that. Why he did that, I don't know. But it's just one of those things that boys do. They do some very strange things. like picking up a permanent marker and drawing on their skin or on their face with a permanent marker. I guess they did. The only other thing I could think is that at that time, hello, who have we got here? Kimberly Sheets, is that right? Kimberly Sheets of 302. And so this is inspired from TikTok. I could have added that into my title too. So this is kind of inspired by TikTok. I'm calling it the Daughter Doodle. And so there's doodles on TikTok as well. And I hear that there's a lot of people who cross post between YouTube and TikTok. The channel I'm looking at is called NG Doodles. NG Doodles is the name of the channel. And so I'm kind of inspired by one of the doodles that they have on here. So I was just making my own doodle based off of their doodle. And so let's see if I can get a little bit of something else in here. I'm trying to make that stained glass look here. I'm using a pen. They used what did they use? They used a marker. I'm using a blue pen. I decided I'm going to use a blue pen to make my doodle here, my daughter doodle. And so it's kind of that stained glass look right here that I'm working on this part. So I'm doing just a little bit of it at a time, just like that. Let me see here. So yes, my name is Kimberly Sheets. Well, nice to meet you, Kimberly Sheets. Very nice to meet you. Sheets is kind of a fun name, actually. She, I don't want to poke fun at your name, but I mean, I've actually, I've used the last name of Sheets before for, I think you've probably heard of Three Sheets to the Wind. But oh my gosh, I miss the days of when my mom hung the sheets out. Eventually I had to hang them out on the clothesline, but they smelled so good. Oh, there was just something about that hanging clothes out on the clothesline smell. I'm messing up here somehow, I think, with this doodle, or am I? I might have made this part a little wider than, or I could have made these a little longer, but I'll fix it here. But I don't know if you ever had a mom who hung clothes out on the clothesline, and I loved it. It's like I would hang clothes out on the clothesline just to try to recreate that smell with the sheets, and there was something about the crispiness of the sheets, just the smell, and the smell of nature. Now, some places in a big city, I don't think you'd want to do that. If you hung sheets outside and say that you lived next to a road that has a lot of traffic or interstate, your sheets are going to turn a different color, I'm afraid. They might smell like carbon fumes, possibly, and probably. So in the city, it might not work as good, but in other places, maybe it will. And let's see here. Well, hello, Saber Early Yawns. Saber Early Yawns. It looks like a Fernie, a fun. Oh, fun. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. It is a lot of fun to do little doodles and things like that. I learned a crochet technique the other day. Well, I'd actually done it before. It's a very, very challenging technique to do. That's the whole thing about it. And I'm trying to come up with something so I can show how to do it with a flower. I tried to do it with I think I posted a video on one of my other channels, because I do have a few other channels. We can have as many as we want to. Now, I'm the only person on my channels because of the fact that I'm not part of a network. And so most normal people are not part of a network. And oh, I love the pretty hearts. Those are so pretty. Those must be from another that I don't think YouTube hearts are that pretty, are they? Let's add a question here. Can you sing sing a karaoke song? Go to karaoke songs. Okay, let's put that up. Why, thank you. Thank you so much. Um, okay, so I'm drawing some little doodles here and having some fun memories from when my kids were toddlers. That's fun memories for me. That's kind of what I need, is memories when my kids were little. And oh, my daughter, I had on VHS tape a whole bunch of drawings that she did. And you know what, right now, if I had my VHS tape, I probably would have transferred it, and I'd be looking at her drawings and being inspired by what she did. Because she told stories about her drawings. I would ask her to tell me stories about her drawings. I don't know if she remembers it or not, but maybe I should ask her sometime and see if she remembers me asking her about the stories. But I had a VHS camera, so I just did it one time. I asked her to tell me some stories because I wanted to record something. I didn't know what to record. My brain wasn't, like, I was recording onto VHS before YouTube existed. And so it was kind of like the start of the maybe a precursor to the vlogging era, but a lot of people had VHS cameras, so it's nothing new. As far as that goes, recording people on camera, that's not anything new. Let me see here. Okay, here. Well, so what was the question I put up here? Go to karaoke song. Okay, so you guys can. Sabriel yawns. That's a pretty name. Oh, lions. Sabria Lions. Oh, Sabria. I was thinking the name was Sabriel Yawns. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for messing up your name. There's two different spellings there. I am so sorry. I think your name is Sabria Lions. But I was calling you Sabriel Yawns. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. I've noticed that even, with a lot of names, when we run the last names together, we get what I call it blur words, or nested words within words. And so it's really a fun way, if you're a school teacher or you're someone who's a stay-at-home mom and you want to teach your kids, or say that you just want to play around with your kids on the weekends or something, you can make up names and things like that. That's one of the things that I learned when my kids were home with me on weekends and things, and when they were little, all they wanted was my attention. That was all they wanted, was just to spend some time with me. That was all my kids wanted. And, that was the only thing I wanted, like when I was older, after I graduated high school. I just wanted to spend a little bit of time with my parents. I really wasn't a kid that was that prepared for life, because you can't teach preparing someone for life. It's really hard. It's very hard to teach someone preparations for life, and a lot of people talk about finances all the time, and I think that we're learning together here that with finances and things like that, with what we have right now, it's hard to be prepared because of the fact of the expensive nature of how it changes so abruptly and drastically, that it makes it hard on everyone, the way things are right now. And that's why it's important for us to use our voices and express it to the people who we think should be helping us. And then we find out that they're not. And they should. They need to be helping us because otherwise we have a great big mess. And so, but I'm going to be quiet about that right now. That looks, well, thank you so much. Should we put it up? Can you say Kella? Yes, Kela, Kella? Kela. So this is from, is that Emilio Castillo? Oh, Castillo. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's so crazy, the name. Oh my gosh. That was the name of the lady. I was talking about this not that long ago. Her name was Mrs. Castillo. I think that was her name. I'm not positive. Because I remember I said something about, I was talking in a video, trying not to be too identifiable, but I would only be identifiable to hopefully to people who have my best interest at heart. And so what I was talking about was when my kid's dad, when we were married and he was wounded in action, and I said there was a lady that rode in the back seat with him and that I couldn't go because of the fact that my kids were in school. And so I told her, she asked me if I wanted to go, and I really liked her. I mean, the truth be known is I loved her as a friend. If you can say that you feel that way about someone, there's a lot of people who were military spouses that I loved as acquaintances and friends, people that I would see, and I looked the majority of them I looked forward to seeing in a lot of places. And that was the same thing with some of the soldiers too. It's like it was kind of fun when my ex-husband brought the soldiers home from like puppy dogs. He brought them home like little puppy dogs. No, but what we learned was there was a woman, and she was kind of telling us that she told us that they feel lonely when they have to go live outside of the United States. They miss home, and so they just want to be around other people, and that was us. Now, I don't think they'd want to be around me now because I'm old. They don't want to be hanging out with old. Well, you know what? They will hang out with old people if you cook for them. So, so that was the funny thing, is that when we lived over in Germany, we had a different type of connection because of the fact we're all away from the United States. And the thing I'd always said is when we get back to the United States, we kind of went our separate ways because we've got the TV, we've got the bars, the clubs, and then everybody's kind of hanging out together that way, doing things that are a little bit different. You go back to your American ways, where when you're overseas, everybody is like in the same thing kind of together, and you miss being around Americans. You just do. I mean, that's normal. You miss being around Americans, and so it's kind of nice when you're overseas to be around other people who are Americans. And I know the kids, they may do, most of the time they got along. A lot of the times it's more or less the parents. And, we've always said that a lot of times it's the parents that's the problems. And sometimes it's just, it's not even that the parents are a problem. It's just sometimes people feel lonely and left out of things. They do. They absolutely do. They feel lonely and left out of things. They want to be a part of it too. They want to be a part of, and sometimes people choose to not be a part of something, and that's okay too. They have reasons, they feel isolated or maybe embarrassed about something they did. They have no reason to. You know what? This is the thing I look at right now. With as much of the nonsense that we see on YouTube, nobody has a reason to feel embarrassed about anything ever again. With the ridiculous, stupid stuff that we have on YouTube, it shows true human nature and the stupid things that people do. And a lot of the people that we watch on YouTube right now, a lot of them are probably in their 50s, 40s, and 50s now, because some of that video is really old. That's one thing I've noticed. Some of that stuff from like Jackass and from those days, from over 20 years ago, and they've taken some footage that's really, really old. And I mean, I'll tell you, nobody has anything to feel embarrassed about. I was watching this guy yesterday. I really liked him. I don't know what his name is on his YouTube channel. And he was saying he wouldn't shave his beard because he had bad teeth. And I was thinking, my goodness, dude, women can't grow beards when we have bad teeth. Now, that seems like a funny excuse, but the thing that I was thinking about is that it's painful, though, to have bad teeth because of the fact that when it's so expensive and then you don't have the means to be able to get teeth pulled when you need them pulled, that's hard under many, many types of circumstances. That's really hard. And, so, but I would tell people that if you have a tooth go bad, just have it pulled. That's cheaper. Just have it pulled because cosmetic dental is about having you become a reoccurring customer. So, and that's why the dentist, I think, he told me when I was in my 40s, he said I was too young to have dentures. And I told him that's all I wanted to do. I said, my reasoning was my grandparents had dentures. And so I had a tooth go bad, but I didn't realize that putting on the caps and crowns makes things worse, and then it makes it more painful. It just delays the inevitable of your teeth going bad and rotten anyway. So if you were a kid and you had a lot of fillings and things like that, it's likely that you're going to end up with root canals and things like that, or pain. And if you've ever had a root canal or infection in your tooth, you know that they are painful. They're absolutely painful, and it does cause pain and suffering for people who are not able to get their teeth pulled. I actually have a hole in my mouth right now, in my gums, but because of my circumstances, I would have had it taken out sooner, but because of my circumstances, it's really, really hard right now to be able to go, and plus I have to pay cash, because I don't have a dental plan, and so I'm trying not to complain about this. I'm just providing feedback of how things have gotten more expensive for me as time has passed. And so I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy or anything like that. I'm just sharing the problems that we have with this society that hurts all of us as a whole. And so let's see here. Okay, wait a second. So, okay, so I'm just continuing on with this. It'll be fun when I get it done. It's going to take me a little while to do it. And so I think what I'm going to do is maybe finish the rest of this by myself and let you guys go. And I don't want to be a bandwidth hog here, and and maybe I'll do some doodling a little bit later. I'll do a short video. If you guys have any recommendations for things that you want done, that's what I'll do in the future. So I don't mind cross-promoting to people on TikTok that I like, or to do things that are similar to mine. I really enjoy the platforms, and so I'm getting I get some really, really good AI recommendations from YouTube, and YouTube itself, the AI on YouTube tells us that a lot of people will have two channels. They'll create a channel on TikTok and on YouTube. A lot of people right now are not too fond of Facebook, it seems like. So Facebook is not a good source for collaborations with content creation and link dropping and things like that. So people are not that fond of Facebook. So if you're trying to do a YouTube business, or I shouldn't call it YouTube, an internet type of a business, it right now it is challenging. It is very challenging, and it seems like shorts are being favored. But what I'll say is, this is my advice. Okay, the YouTube AI has recommended to me to use my short video that leads to a long video. So right now, I made this video public. If I don't make it public, I don't get my little short that comes along with it. If it's unlisted, I don't get the short recommended. So with this one, I'll get a short that's recommended. So hopefully I'll point back to this video. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I forget to point back to the original video. But so I use that to point to this video, and then it also says I can use my shorts to point to other videos. So I try to keep them topical, even though I am doing a channel that has a lot of stuff on it, a lot of different things. So AI recommended to me that I can do political content, but keep it in a kind of like a playlist, and then even recommended. So if I make something that's political, then I point it in to another political video. So if I'm doing my artwork here, it told me to avoid attaching like this. No, I could attach this to a crochet video, I think. Or I can point it back to long doodle videos that I've made, doodle Zentangle videos. So if you're going to use keywords, use Zentangle, doodle, artwork, how to draw artwork. These are things that you can use that on TikTok too. If Google has some incredible good suggestions for optimizing videos. You guys can get it from YouTube and take it over to TikTok and do it. So TikTok is about, I believe TikTok is, when I was there, it seemed really similar to YouTube in many ways with the hashtags. And so AI told me the other day, it said you can use up to 15 hashtags in the video description. I think that what it was recommending to me is to not use any more than that for some reason, but it just said use up to 15. You can use up to 15 hashtags. And so it's kind of a thing to help guide AI to know where to categorize and place your video, because it does have a hard time. That's what I've noticed. It still does seem to have a hard time knowing what a video is about. Now what I do is I take and I will grab the video. So right now with me talking in this video, it will be about 24 hours or 24 to 48 hours, something like that. This video will be processed, and then I'll come back, I'll go under the languages. They've changed the name of it. It used to be translations and captions. Now it's called languages. So I'll go in there and I'll grab that. I'll place it into the video description, and then it can also read that. So it's going to read what I have to say in the video in my description, which is public. So it'll give me more options with words for search engine optimization to be able to read and know how to categorize my video just a little bit more. Plus I ask the AI on YouTube to tell stories sometimes. I tell you what, I am totally in love with AI right now. It kind of makes me excited again a little bit. It kind of rejuvenates a little bit, even though I'm not earning any revenue or anything like that. But it makes me excited. It always did. I mean, when I was going to college, I was really excited about the future of AI, having no idea how I was going to earn money from or revenue or turn it into a job or anything like that. And when I did the first time, I was like, I was just on cloud nine. That's kind of why it was so painful when I lost my original YouTube channel. Um, I mean, it is losing a real job. And you put your heart and soul into it, and then it's just gone. Uh, you know, but I have mixed feelings about it because of everything that happened. Because it's like when you're in a relationship, I don't even know how to reconcile this, because it's like when you're in a relationship and then you have a partner that turns sour and bad on you. Then the thing with social media, then that there's a risk that they're always looking to see what you're doing. And I have proof of that related to, just me being in the relationship, knowing that he was always looking at his exes to see what they were up to and what they were doing. But I was the one that had to suffer and endure the additional things, and I kind of felt like he didn't appreciate the things that I was doing, which helped pay for where we were living at. And he was telling me that I was ruining his dream, and I don't know what that meant, because the thing is, I contributed to it, and I'm the one who ends up with things not going in my favor. So, and that's the same thing when you create a business of your own, and you see something you think is new in the future, and you create it from square one, and then you have a partner who is not on board with you, it's not going to work. So, and one of the things at the beginning of YouTube, I was always hiding, because even then he was trashing on me and telling me I was wasting my time when I was teaching on YouTube, when I was teaching crochet videos. He was telling me I was wasting my time even back then. This was back in 2006. And so it's like, it's funny, I think about back in 2006, there's kids who were born back then who are now like 19 years old, and they probably have dreams of YouTube and the internet and some being their career, which that's what a lot of people are saying. And I feel bad for the kids, because it's like myself as an adult who was old back then. I understand it, because I had to hide what I was doing, because of the fact that, and I always wrote about that I had to hide from my husband what I was doing, because he was like talking so bad about it, telling me I was wasting my time. Here I am, an adult, a married woman, I'm an adult, and he's telling me I'm wasting my time. And I always tried to explain to him, I said, you know what? This is what I went to college for. And he seemed to not have any tolerance for that. And so I would ask parents, I hope that they give their kids some room to grow related to the internet, because it is the future. It's the direction that our country is going. And, not hopefully the bad practices won't follow along, but unfortunately they're what gets featured right now. And yeah, there is a lot of bad things. I always said that. I was always the first to admit it, because people would ask me, it's like, well, do you want that? And it's like, no, there's a lot of things that I don't like. And the adult content was one of them that I wasn't fond of at all. We had to tolerate it. And it's like, to me, when people say things on the internet that's really vulgar, to me, that's just like going into a convenience store and just shouting out a bunch of vulgar words at a convenience store or somewhere, so it's like, on the internet, we have zero, people have zero respect. A lot don't have respect for what we do on the internet, and they treat us all like we're a bunch of idiots and like everybody's a robot. And I think the reason they do that is to justify what they're doing, because they didn't take seriously what we were doing on the internet, just like my second husband didn't take seriously what I was doing on the internet, and as something that was a job, where I could have taken care of myself without him. That's probably what he was scared of, was me being able to take care of myself without him. And he wanted to keep me stuck. And, that becomes, which I said, that becomes learned helplessness by a husband. Learned helplessness, yeah, because, there's always things that men have said to women, which is, oh, don't blame me if you get fat, which I think kind of is a key word of that he doesn't care if you get fat, because then you're stuck with him. You're not attractive to other men. That, there's a strategy with that, like, oh, well, you're too fat to be attractive, so they do use that. Why are you back there barking in your sleep? Hey, stop barking in your sleep. And so, yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of things that it's like, I know people think I hate kids, and I don't, even though even though I've said I don't want them around. And that's not entirely true. It's like I always embraced trying to do things, and then it's the demons of other people that come out, and even artificial intelligence. It's like there's a weird artificial intelligence that comes out. It's a talking one that comes out on the internet, and it is really strange. It's like somebody, as a third party, is allowed to have this conversation, artificial intelligence on the internet. Oh, goodness. I didn't think I was going to become emotional in this video, but apparently, that I know a lot of times I say that I'm not that attached, and the thing is, I try to keep myself detached from YouTube, because I've already been hurt once, related to, psychologically hurt, related to what happened with my original YouTube channel. And that was something I was proud of, and I was working harder and harder on making my videos better, because everybody was saying, well, you're not making professional content. And so then there comes a point that it's just like, okay, forget it. You do it by yourself. If I can't do it good enough, then you do it by yourself. So there's a whole lot of things. It's not even just the comments, but then it's just within the relationship and the marriage too. And yeah, the marriage, I mean, and then for them, they coincided at the same time. The demise of both. I mean, and he should have, I just wish I would have kept all my YouTube revenue for myself and not given him anything. He didn't deserve to get what he got. He deserved to get nothing. He really deserved to have nothing. Actually, I was thinking, if I leave, maybe if I have I haven't done anything I'm thinking if I should leave my channel to my daughter if, because I think she could do something with it. I would need her email though. I'd have to ask her for her email if something happened to me, which it will one day. But at least she'd have some content to work with and she could reuse it in the future. And she seems to like the internet. And so maybe I should leave it to her. I was just going to have it go away, but I thought, maybe she might like to do something with it. Because other people have said that, there was one guy, he said something about he bought an Omegle, which Omegle just, he said he bought an Omegle channel and he revived it. And I have to wonder if he's one of those guys who put that stuff on TikTok. That's what I've often wondered, because some of that stuff that they were putting on TikTok with the, back in 2024, it kind of looked like maybe it was from Omegle, and that they were running a script or they were running a live stream of pre-recorded content. That's kind of what it looked like a little bit to me. It was kind of funny. And the thing is, it's like, well, the people, I don't know if the people were actors or if they were real people. That's the thing I always question. Or right now I question, are they AI? I don't know, because AI is that good. Artificial intelligence is that good. It can trick you. It's absolutely that good. I always include a tag or something in mine, and it says there's a note on my stuff when it's artificial intelligence. There's a note that says that it is. This video is not going to have a note that says it's artificial intelligence on it, because it's not AI, even though I'm often accused of being AI. And then there's times I've done a mix. You know what? The short videos that have AI in them, when I use AI and I put something in that's mine, it's always going to have that thing on there that says made with AI, even though part of it is me. Let's see what this says. How will gosh. How. Okay, you came back, Kimberly. Thank you. Okay. It kind of looks like a shell a little bit, doesn't it? I think it does. It looks a little bit like a shell. I was going to stop, but then I decided to not stop and to keep going here. I like this, though. I wonder, I love the, YouTube has the photo to video, and we even have that in the Google Photos too. And so I have so much fun with this. I have some live streams. I really need to go through and rename them, because even though they're drawings, they are doodles too. And so I should utilize the word doodle a lot more than what I do. Because they are doodles, and I can include every single one of them with doodle, with the doodle hashtag. And so it's just like if you use something, like the word love, that's very popular, the word love. And some people have had what they call I think they call it the I love you tag. There's all kinds of, all types of words that you can use. So if you talk about it in your video, the hearts. Okay, so I'm sorry I had to do something. Oh, that's okay, Kimberly. I know that you can't be here all the time. It's okay. And okay, so we're drawing these little squares. Well, they're not really squares, but they're just some little doodly type things here like this. And so there, I like that. It's looking better all the time here. Okay, here. So let's get this. I was thinking of maybe making a TikTok again, and then I think no, I don't want to work that much for. I mean, I've got my YouTube to do, and but I know a lot of people will cross post and things like that, and it's like I've this is what I've done because of everything that happened. It's like I'll make a channel and then I delete it. I make a channel and then I delete it. It's because I get scared. I did the same thing with YouTube before I finally stuck with this one. Um, I made a channel and deleted it. I think I had a channel and I would use it and I go in a place that didn't make me feel very good. They were mean. I don't know why I went there, but I just did. And I thought it was a place where I was going to be able to chat with people, and they were just plain mean. So I think that it might be AI, possibly, but I'm not sure. Or it's human beings using it, and, so it just doesn't feel good to go to places where you try to chat about something, and then someone, well, like the guy last night, he says, well, go on ahead and tell us what your issues are. And I told him a tiny, tiny bit. He says, you can share more if you want to. And I'm like, no. It's like, and he's like, oh, I promise I'll keep the trolls away from you. Well, which that's almost like a signal of if you say anything, then all his trolls and all his people are going to be just ragging on you. So it's just kind of like they've destroyed the essence of where people can go to talk about things. Now, the thing for me that I've often thought about was, oh, thank you, Kimberly. She says, I love your work and videos, Kimberly Sheets. And so the thing I often thought about was, we've had this significant change from back in the day where military veterans had a hard time being able to talk about things. Now they're told that they can still serve in the military and they can talk about things. And so I think we've had a significant change there related to their mental and well-being, a very significant change for men overall. And I always found that something that was kind of near and dear to my heart when I was a military spouse, because I recognized, and that's what they were always talking about. They said that if the soldiers had mental health problems, that they would get chaptered out of the military. And so right now, I think that probably is going to be discrimination if they try to do that right now. So if it's just them and they need, that's why I always saw YouTube as a place for people to be able to chat and talk. And then now with what they've done on the internet, with like things that I've tried to write about and the censorship, and it's like, well, then it kind of takes that away now, doesn't it? Because because so many of them, whoever the opposing side is that doesn't want the internet to be successful, has kind of taken that away and created a hostile environment for people who have mental health things going on. And so everybody has a mental health type of a thing going on at some time or another in their life, And COVID even made things worse too, isolating people. And there's still some after effects with that. A lot of after effects related to COVID. that haven't been solved. Hello? Um, let's see if I can read this. I have to, Heidi. Is that, oh no, it says hello. It said Heidi. Cute little artist. Ah, that's a good name too. Cute little artist. A hashtag. Right? Hopefully that'll come up. Hashtag cute little artist. Beautiful little artist. Beautiful, I'll tell you right now, with the overemphasis. I know you guys don't like I'm trying not to be political here, but listen to some of the political words that the president uses and see how you can use that in your artwork. So for example, he's always using big beautiful bill. How about beautiful little artist? We could do that too. We could have a beautiful little artist. We can have beautiful big crochet yarn, beautiful chunky crochet yarn, beautiful big beautiful drawings, big beautiful moons, big beautiful moons, big beautiful spaceships, related to, oh, imagine a space capsule full of yarn and it's flying out into outer space. I know my daughter, she loved TARDIS, the time and relative dimension in space. She loved TARDIS. And that was from, heck, I don't know if she even knows this, but I was watching her on Facebook and I was getting ideas from her with things that she was doing for Halloween. So I wasn't trying to be an overbearing parent when I was watching her on Facebook. I was just getting ideas from her and I was just watching her have fun. And it's like, she's kind of doing this, some of the similar things that I did when I was a mom and when I was a military spouse. It's just that they seem to have a better relationship with people, that they were hanging out with than what we had when I was younger, when I was a military mom. So it was like something was changing where people were getting along better. And then it seems like this big ugly element came in and says, no, we don't want you guys getting along. We don't want you getting along at all. And I don't know what that was. I think it was legacy media, possibly. We don't want you guys getting along, because that hurts their revenue stream. And so that's what happens, is that the ugly side of legacy media, they were always anti-government, always. So I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. I tried to, and I can't. I just absolutely can't, because they have such a nasty, ugly sentiment towards the government. And it's like, when you do that, you're hurting my family, you're hurting my kids, you're hurting our future. And you know what? You might even be hurting your own self, your own future self, when it comes right down to it. Because when your network no longer exists and when you have no money coming in, then where are you going to live? So with you guys doing the crap that you're doing right now, and you're participating in an ugly media, the legacy media, the TV people, and they don't care that they're hurting military families. They pretend on TV. That's what all I see is they do. They pretend that they care about the American public, and they really don't. And that's the thing I hate. It's like nothing's changed from 10 years ago. In 2015, when I had my original YouTube channel, and things were really, really starting off getting toxic, worse in my marriage, and uh, you know, nothing's changed. It's actually just gotten worse as far as that goes. Um, yeah, it has. It's just gotten worse. We used to be able to write about things and talk about things on the internet, and I don't want to repeat the same words over and over again. I see a lot of people doing that. They just repeat the same words, and that's what they call low quality content. Um, they call that low quality content. I'm sorry for F. Zach. What is the phone number? 757-588 times. What is that? Is that an Army Times number? When you write that, it makes me think of the Army Times or Military Times. 757-588 times. Hello, Lightstar. Hope your day is going well. Oh, Amizu Paints. Well, hello, Amizu Paints. I'm just having a little moment here, but I'll probably be fine. So I'm just finishing up my. Well, let me remove this thing here. Okay, there. So I've got my little. I was drawing a little doodle here. A small, what does this say? A small act of kindness you remember. That little, it popped up briefly. A small act of kindness I remember. The little stickers, I guess, kind of make it hard for people to see if I do it that way. But I like this. So it was kind of inspired from TikTok. And I called this the daughter doodle. Well, there's another word I added in there, now I can't remember. But I always like to include drawing and things like that. And so that's just that little swirl spiral thing that we always have going on. And yeah, it's fun and simple. It does look like a toddler drew it, though. I think I've achieved that. I've achieved that part. I've made it look like a toddler did it, and I'm proud of myself for that. So that's the fun part, and it kind of reminded me of my kids when they were little and drawing on their diapers. That's kind of where I started the video out at, and I think that's where I'm probably going to end it at. Them drawing on their stinky diapers. Oh goodness, that's always crazy. Them drawing on their stinky diapers. Only a kid would do something like that. But really, this is the toddler will just, we're not going to move the pen, we're just going to move the paper. Like this. We'll just move it around like this. This is what we'll do. This is more, see, I'm going to get that toddler thing going on. Oh no. Oh no. But this is what a toddler would do, is go back here and then probably just rip the paper. Or is it like this? I think this is probably how a toddler would hold their pen, like this. We're going to hold the pen like a fist, right? I think that's how they would do it, because they're not going to hold it like this. They're going to hold it like this, just with their whole fist. And then we're going to see, you know, a little toddler boy is going to see this, and it's like, okay, this looks like fun. This is what we're going to do. We figured out we're going to rip up our drawing, and we're going to rip up everybody else's drawing that we see along the way, right? This is artwork. This is my artwork. And I don't want anybody else to have my artwork. And we're just going to keep... yeah, this is what a toddler boy is going to do. The artwork, especially if it's his sister's, he doesn't want anybody else to... This is artwork to a little toddler, 2-year-old boy. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you the next time. If I can get this